Hi, and welcome to the channel. Today's practice is an all levels practice, and we will take our time going through each pose today as we discuss a little bit to how we can adjust any pose to make it fit your body and where you're at today. I think over the course of the last week, I've been told at least on 3 separate occasions, I just can't do yoga. I'm not flexible. Well, really, yoga can be done by anyone. Many of the postures are very simple and can be adjusted to fit you and to still receive the benefit intended by that particular posture, whether if it's a hip opener or maybe it's to stretch out the back body or the side body. We can find a way to make it more accessible to you and to make your practice available to you so that you enjoy it. Also, we will start out today's practice with just some basic breathing. The foundation of yoga is the breath, and so we'll start with some very simple breathing to start out the day and to just get grounded. So join me on your mat. You can come and take a seat, and I do recommend either having a couple of blocks or maybe a firm throw pillow from your couch or a blanket. If you would like any of those items during your practice, just have them available to you, and we'll discuss several ways to use them today. So go ahead and come to a seat, and we will just sit cross-legged. Today I'm going to use a block and sit up on my block just to gain a little bit of height. Still feeling grounded and not wobbly at all here. Allowing the legs to cross and closing the eyes. Let the hands rest gently either in the lap or just let them sit on the knees. As I said, we'll begin with some basic breathing, and we'll take these breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. This is called equal part breath. We'll start with a count of 4 on the inhale and then exhale to a count of 4. If that's a little too long for you, please adjust the count and maybe do an inhale for a count of 3 and then exhale for a count of 3. As I guide you along today, I will be using a count of 4. And if you like to do this on your own, I tend to count using my fingertips as I go through the breathing. So we'll take one normal breath to prepare. On the next inhale, breathe in for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Continue at your own pace. Sticking with the count of 4. If you feel like you're available to go deeper, you can take this inhale to a count of 5 and exhale to a count of 5. Sitting tall through the crown of the head. Spine is nice and long. On the inhale, filling up the belly. Exhale, releasing, letting go. Do about 5 more rounds here. Allow the breath to return to normal. Feeling grounded. Continue breathing through the nose and flutter the eyes open. If you're up on a block or a blanket, feel free to stay there. You can also release the block. We're going to do a couple of side bends in our easy seated position. Take the right hand towards the mat. Allow it to rest onto the mat and inhale the left arm up and overhead as it comes along the left side of the face. And the gaze is turned upward. You don't need to fall over very low in this side bend. You can keep it upright. Your goal is to stay so that your chest is still turning up towards the sky and so that we're not folding forward and letting the arm curl us over like so. On the next inhale, come up to center, and we'll do the same thing on the left side. Exhale, bring the right arm up and over. Staying here for a couple of breaths, just so you can feel the posture. Feel your side body opening on the right side. On the next inhale, come to center, and we'll exhale, bend to the right. You may notice that you're much more open on one side or the other. Feeling the length growing in between the ribs. Inhaling space throughout the side body. Come back to center, and then exhale over to the left. Stretching out those right fingertips like they're trying to reach the wall. The right hip is glued to the mat or the block, whatever you're up on at this time. Inhale back to center. We'll take another inhale here. Exhale, twist, just a small twist towards the right. The left hand goes towards the right knee and look over the right shoulder. Inhale back to center, and we'll exhale towards the left side. Right hand goes to the left knee, twisting and looking towards the left shoulder. Inhale back to center. From here, we're going to come over onto our all fours into tabletop position. Keep the blocks nearby. Wrists are directly underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. Weight is evenly distributed between the front and back and the right and the left, and you're in your tabletop position. From here, the arms should be slightly turned out, so the soft part of your elbow facing forward. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift the left leg and extend it long behind you. In your balancing table pose on the left side, we'll keep both of the hands firmly planted into the mat for this practice. Your toes can be either flexed like mine, or you can point them, whichever feels best to you. But the hips should try to be as level as possible. Maybe taking a quick look back and just feeling so that they are level and not open and tilted up. We're not trying to get a lot of height in that left leg. We want it to be even with the other hip. Inhale here. On the exhale, point the toes, tuck the tailbone, and draw the left knee in almost until it's touching the nose. Drawing in with the core, pulling that navel in tight, trying to touch your tailbone with the heel. Inhale, return back to your balancing table. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend the left leg long. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale the left leg long. And then go ahead and lower the left leg down into your tabletop position. We'll do that all once more on the right side. Inhale, extend the right leg out. Check your hip to make sure that it's square with the left side of your body. Toes can be either flexed or pointed. Take an inhale. Exhale. Feel that right leg extending long and strong, engaging through the back side of the right leg. And exhale. Draw that right knee. Pull it in, tucking in the core, trying to make that heel touch your tailbone. Inhale, extend it long. 2 more times. Drawing the knee in. Inhale, extending out. Exhale, pulling everything in, tight, tight, actively engaging that right leg. Exhale, extending the right leg out. And bringing the right knee towards the ground. You're back in your tabletop position. From tabletop, we'll go ahead and tuck the toes and then push back into our downward facing dog. In our down dog, we'll just check our form. Heels are trying to reach for the ground. They don't have to touch the mat the entire way. They can be lifted. Just feel yourself actively trying to reach them back and down towards the mat as the tailbone lifts up and points towards the sky. The arms should be turned out slightly. Again, trying to make that soft edge almost face up of the inside crease of your elbow, so that the shoulders spread wide and apart on your back. Fingers are spread out wide. Inhale deeply through the nose. Exhale, release. One more inhale. And exhale. On the next inhale, we'll step our way towards the front of the mat. You could take one big step or several little ones and bring ourselves in between our hands. Exhale, bend the knees and fold deeply into your forward bend. Fingertips can touch the mat, or you can take a hold of your elbows. Release the back of the neck and the head. Deep breath in. Exhale, release. Weight comes just slightly into the front of the feet. If you can, just lean a little bit more into the balls of the feet. If you need to, use your hands to help counter the weight if you feel a little bit off balance here or that you might tip. If you feel more like you can straighten the legs a little bit more, you can take that now. Notice where you feel the stretch. Are you feeling it alongside the back of the body in the low back? Are you feeling it in the back side of the legs, maybe throughout the hamstrings, maybe even through the calves? From here, inhale, halfway lift. Draw the hands towards the hips. From here, give a small tuck of the tailbone, and we'll start to roll ourselves up to standing into our mountain pose. Very good. We'll take our first sun salutation. Inhale the arms up, gazing up. Exhale, swan diving forward until you're in your forward fold. We'll take this sun salutation a little bit slowly. Inhale, halfway's lift. You can have your fingertips either on the mat or place them gently at your shins. Exhale, place the fingertips or the hands onto the mat, and we'll step back into plank. Now, if you are familiar with our plank to chaturanga, go ahead and take the full plank to chaturanga. Otherwise, you can lower to your knees. And from here, lower down until you reach the earth. I'm going to move my blocks just a little bit out of the way. Hands are just in front of your shoulders. Inhale up to your cobra pose. Actively engage through the legs to protect the low back. And exhale, tuck the toes, push back into your downward dog. Very good. We're going to do that one more time. On an inhale, step your feet to the front of the mat, bring them in between the hands. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, draw your hands to your hips, start to tuck the tailbone, and roll yourself up to standing. You're in your mountain pose. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive forward. In your Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway's lift. Hands can come to the shins. Exhale, place the hands down onto the mat as you step all the way back. You can do a full plank to a chaturanga or lower the knees. Lower down onto the mat. Come up into your cobra pose. Exhale into your downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale, right foot up to the sky. And then we want to draw it through in between the front hands. Now, many people get stuck right here and aren't able to draw that foot all the way up and in between the hands, and that's totally fine. You can pause right there, maybe just give it a little walk and bring it up in between the hands so that you're in a good position to start with. And we'll turn that back foot out to about a 45-degree angle. Inhale the arms up, and you're in your warrior one pose on the right side. Sinking into that bent right front knee, but we're still in a 90-degree angle in the front leg. Torso is facing forward. There will be a very slight turnout in the left hip. To have them perfectly square is pretty difficult, and you may feel a little bit of tension on that back knee. So if you do feel that, adjust your hip just slightly, or maybe turn your foot out a little bit more to accommodate your knee so you don't feel a big twist. On the next inhale, we'll open up into a warrior two, opening up the left hip now. And the arms extend long in front of you and behind. Gaze is extending past the right middle finger. Again, take a look down at your feet and maybe at your front knee. Make sure that our front knee is not bending inward or slopping outward. It's directly upright with a 90-degree angle. And feel how your back leg, the sensation that you're feeling in the back leg. Again, if you're feeling any tweaked or torquing on that back knee, adjust the position of your back foot. If you're a little bit more mobile, you may want your back foot turned out even more. Mine is almost perpendicular with the long edge of the mat. From here, your torso should be upright, not leaning forward. Nice and upright. almost like your whole body can be squeezed between two panes of glass. On the next inhale, we'll rainbow the arms up and over to the front of the mat so that your foot is in between the arms. Turn the left leg so that it can come and lower down towards the mat, the left knee onto the mat, and the back toes can release. And we're now in our low lunge pose. You can inhale, take the arms and rest to the top of the knee, or you can have them up overhead in your traditional Anjaneyasana. Since we're finding different ways to access our pose today, you can also find more stability by having your blocks side by side. And if your hips are finding this to be too deep and that it's too much pressure between your hip, and then also the angle between your hip and a femur, if it's too deep for you, the back knee can walk in just slightly. So you're shortening up that angle in your low lunge. Still activating though, and feeling the front heel pull back and towards the left knee. So the left knee, you feel that almost like you're trying to pull the legs together to create a wrinkle in the mat. Here we're creating strengthening in the muscles that we're using to do this posture, tucking in the tailbone, drawing in the core. So I'm not just resting passively in this pose, I'm actively engaging the muscles. From here, you can maybe move the block slightly or still make use of the block if you would like. We're going to come into our Revolve Low Lunge. The left hand can come to the mat or to a block, and we'll raise the right arm up to the sky for a nice twist. Still tucking in the tailbone, pulling in the navel. Feeling that right shoulder drop down alongside the body, creating space between the shoulder and the ear. Inhale the right arm back down towards the mat. You're in your low lunge. From your low lunge, we're going to bring that left knee in even further so that it's directly underneath the hip, and we're supported there. So now we're in this kneeling stance. From here, take a block to your right side. This is going to help you so you don't have to reach all the way to the mat, and you'll feel a little bit more balanced. We're going to do a side stretch to open up the hip flexor on the left side. Inhale the left arm up. Bring it over to the right side as you push into that left hip. And feel the stretch along the entire left side of the body, especially into that left hip flexor. This is one of my favorite stretches to take. Inhale here. Exhale, release. You can come upright. I'm going to spin around so that you can see the positioning of this next posture a little better. So right now you're in your kneeling posture. I want you to go ahead and take the right leg and extend it out to the side. And then the arms can come up to a T. This is our gate pose prep. Push into the outside edge of that right foot. Allow the right hand to rest on the right thigh, and we'll inhale the left arm up and overhead. Again, another great lateral side stretch. Depending on how deep you go, you can take the hand all the way down to the right calf. On the next exhale, we'll take that left hand and bring it all the way over and down to the mat as the right arm extends along the right side of the face. You could use a block here, maybe have the left hand on the block so that it can bring the earth closer to you. We'll do that once more. Inhale up. Exhale over to the right. Inhale up and exhale down to the left. From here, go ahead and start to walk your hands along your mat. I have a little further to go since I was turned around so you could see better, and come back into your tabletop. From tabletop, tuck the toes and push yourself back into a downward facing dog. In your downward dog, inhale the left foot up, high up into the air, or not so high, doesn't matter. Again, draw that foot up in between the hands, really rounding the upper back, pushing into the hands, gaining some space so you can bring that foot all the way up and in between. If you don't get it on the first try, that's okay. There's always next time. Inhale the arms up, turn the right toes out so they're at about a 45-degree angle or whatever feels best for your back knee, and exhale lower into your warrior one on the left side. Make small adjustments so you can find the way that the posture best suits you. The front knee should be at a 90-degree angle, and make sure that it's not falling inward. On the next inhale, opening up the arms, opening up the right hip. Maybe, if you need to, turn the toes out a little bit more. Exhale, come into your warrior two on the left side. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale through the nose. Windmill the arms over. Bring them to the opposite side of the left foot. Lower the back right knee down to the earth and untuck the toes. And from here, inhale the torso up. Hands can come to rest onto the knee or alongside the ears for your Anjaneyasana or low lunge. Again, your options here, besides just having the hands onto the knee, you can bring that right knee in just a little bit further to decrease the angle and the intensity that you have in this hip opener. But keep it active. Draw the left heel back and in. Feel the right leg, the shin driving into the earth. Try to make your mat wrinkle between the left and the right side. And remember too, if these postures are a little hard on your knees, grab a blanket or a towel and double up your cushioning. Very good. Take the right hand to the mat, allow it to come flat to the earth, and inhale the left arm up to the sky, shining the chest upward, relaxing the muscles in the face as we get a nice twist here. Probably feeling a nice stretch along the outside of the left leg. Inhale, return back to your low lunge. From your low lunge, we'll go ahead and shorten the distance between our right and our left legs so that our right knee is directly underneath our hip again. Grab a block. Adjust the height of the block. You got 3 different heights to choose from. Start with whatever is most accessible to you. Again, that right hip is directly over the right knee so that we're upright here. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, start to kick the right hip over towards the right as you lean the hand and the head over towards the left. Keeping the upper body open and facing towards the sky so that we're not angled like this. Change your angle so that your heart shines up into the sky and you'll feel the difference in the stretch in your side body. You'll feel more of that going all the way down along the right hip flexor. Inhale, come up. From here again, you stay where you're at. I'm going to spin around and show you the opposite side. From here, we'll take the left foot out and extend it long. Foot can stay upright if you'd like, or you can take it flat to the mat to feel a little bit more stability. Inhale the right arm to the sky. Exhale. Start to bend over towards the left. Inhaling up. Exhale, either coming all the way down to the mat or toward the block. You're in your half circle pose on the right side. Inhaling up. Exhale over to your gate pose. Inhale up. Exhale one more into gate. Or sorry, half circle pose. Inhaling up. From here, we'll take it back around to the top of the mat. So go ahead and lower the torso. Come into our tabletop position. And in our tabletop, from tabletop, take the right foot and turn it out to about a 45-degree angle, almost like it's trying to point to the bottom right corner of the mat. This is going to be used as our kickstand. From here, extend the left foot long so it's in line with, approximately in line with the right hand. And we'll inhale open into our supported side plank on the right side. Using that right foot as a kickstand to assist us in our balance, but we're still lifting up through the torso, actively engaging through that left leg, pushing into the outside edge of the left foot. One more inhale here. Exhale, come back into tabletop. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Take the left leg, the left foot comes out at about a 45-degree angle, and the right leg extends out long so that the sole of the foot is flat in the mat and approximately in line with the left hand. Inhale the right arm up to the sky into your side plank. Lowering down, coming through your tabletop and tucking the toes, push back into a downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you can take a step or a jump to the top of your mat if you feel ready for that. Inhaling, exhale, releasing into your forward fold. Inhale the hands all the way up. Exhale, swan diving down. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway's lift. Hands can come to the shins. Exhale, lower the hands to the mat. Step the feet out for your plank or your supported plank and lowering down. Inhaling up into your cobra pose. Exhale, tuck the toes, push back into your downward dog. From downward dog, we'll go ahead and walk the feet up to the top of the mat. And however you can or feel like it, you can just lower yourself down onto the mat and centering yourself. From here, take a hold of the backs of the thighs and we'll start to roll down slowly. Until we're flat on our back. Extend the legs out long. And then inhale the right leg into the chest and pull it in tight. Give it a squeeze. Start to draw the right leg over to the left side. Shift the hips a little over towards the right to make some room for your spine and to allow it to twist. Exhale, the right arm can come out long. The gaze can stay up to the sky. Steady breaths here as we just unwind. Inhale, come back to center. Extend the right leg out long. Draw the left knee into the chest. Give it a squeeze. Exhale, start to draw the left knee over the right side, maybe shifting the hips over to the left to give yourself some room. The left arm stays long, trying to keep the left shoulder glued to the mat. Inhale back to center. Place the soles of the feet onto the mat. Bring your knees in towards you. Take a hold of them with your hands, and from here, we're just going to rock the knees in and out, back and forth. Try to allow the lower body to relax. And from here, you can draw little circles, starting in one direction and then maybe going in the opposite direction. It's almost like giving your lower back a little massage. Coming back to center, allow the hands to release to the mat. From here, we'll point the feet in the air. Feet can stay flexed. And the legs are at a 90-degree angle as we hold them in the air for our half plow pose. If you have a wall to practice with, this is a great pose to take as a restorative version and just allow the legs to rest against the wall. Holding here for a couple more breaths. You may feel your core start to really engage in this pose as you try to keep the legs upright. On the next exhale, release and draw the knees into your chest, wrapping your arms around them, maybe tucking your head, drawing your chin in. Exhale down towards the mat. Again, the soles of the feet come to the mat. You can, for the next pose, you can either make this an active bridge or restorative bridge. If you have a block, go ahead and use it. Start to peel the tailbone off of the mat and come into your bridge pose. Fingertips are just barely reaching the heels as you lift the hips. If you have a block and would like to make this a restorative bridge, find the height of the block that works best for you and place it just underneath the tailbone. And we'll stay here for about 3 breaths. If you're making this an active bridge, keep in mind that you want to continue to feel the heels drawing upwards and towards the top of your body. Deeply activating the back side of the body in your bridge pose. On the next exhale, if you had the block, lift up so you can release and start to roll the back down to the earth. From here, extend the left leg long. The right leg comes long. Turning the feet out, opening up the hands, making space for yourself in your corpse pose for Shavasana. Resting the eyes, feeling the body relax. Thank yourself for taking the time to come here today. Maybe taking the notion of I can't and change it to I will try. And maybe the more you try to make the poses your own, taking any adjustments or time to find the ease within each pose, maybe your I will try will turn into I can. And you'll find over time things will become slightly easier. If you have a picture in your mind of how things should look, or if you compare yourself to someone else, you may have negativity floating in your mind and it will discourage you from trying. So I just hope that you take what you can from this practice and find the courage to continue to try and start small, and know that over time you may reach certain goals. Whether you just want to have more flexibility throughout your body, maybe more mobility in your joints, Or maybe there is a certain asana that you just have to achieve at some point. It all takes time. And I assure you that for the majority of practitioners that it will take them hours and hours, maybe years, to achieve many of the things that you've seen in the pretty pictures, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook. But it all takes time, and it starts with you just making the time to try. Continue to rest in your Shavasana. If you are ready to come out, go ahead and start to awaken the fingers and the toes. Maybe move them around a little bit. Rolling the ankles, rolling the wrists. Start to flutter the eyes open. From here, you can either gently roll on to the side, or if you feel like you just want to roll up to sit, you can join me. And we'll come back to center in your mat, crossing our legs into our easy sit. And from here, drawing the hands to heart center, tucking the chin and bowing. Thank you for another great practice. I'm glad that you were able to join me. If you like this practice, hit the like button and maybe a comment below. I love to hear what you have to say about our practices every day. Take care. Have an amazing day. Thank you.